Now, this wedding was a traditional wedding between Boris and Rebecca, and right after that would be the wedding reception. So this is how it all started. We started by entering or going to where the groom is, and that is where we started with everything we are supposed to start with. Now, another fun fact is the guy is from Cote d'Ivoire or the Ivory Coast. So most of the languages we had to speak was supposed to be in French, especially to the groomsmen and other people around him. And we were fortunate. Emmanuel, the guy on video, our videographer, is very fluent with the French language. So he was doing a lot of the translation for us. So over here, we are just setting one of our RGB lights behind him so that we can get a bit of a backlight. We are just also waiting for the groomsman to dress him up. So I was just complaining about one time I left my 2 RGB lights at the hotel and we couldn't find it ever again. So here you will probably see me showing behind the scenes of both a couple of videos and photos at the same time. So here I have the ZSYB, a 65 centimeter softbox, and I have it as 100%, and that is what I had on him. So I wasn't really using the speed lights full power like this. So over here, we are trying to reduce the amount of flare we get from the background as much as possible. That's why we are blocking it with curtains. And the reason why we do this is the light from outside is bright, extremely bright, because it's the sun, obviously. So if you don't have a flash power high enough to overpower the lights, we are going to get the silhouette effect. And if that is what you want, so as you may have noticed, I just requested that he takes out the earbud from his ear. Now I'm also shooting on the Nikon Z5. So over here I'm shooting on the Mikey 50mm f1.8 lens. And I have my focus on the... So here we just allow the groomsman to dress him up. And the idea here is we don't want the groom to be looking at the camera whilst this is ongoing. It should be more of an emotional thing, something that doesn't look too rehearsed. But in some cases, you notice that he was still looking at us. So over here, I'm just waiting for Ima to do his thing and be able to cover them. I'm sorry about the video quality. I'm recording this on the GoPro Hero 2, so it records in 1080p, alright, but it's a bit of a fuzzy. Don't worry, at some point I would upgrade, and hopefully the videos are going to look much better because I'll be recording in 4K. So these are a couple of things you have to keep doing. So the chair was quite dirty and we had to get a tissue to clean it up, but he was like, no, don't worry, I think it's fine. And he just sat down. So I have, again, the lights in the softbox directly on them. Now you can use a speed light for this, but because we also have a video ongoing, that is why I chose to use the continuous light, so that I can still take my pictures and he can still record his videos. And so in this case, since we already have continuous lights, he doesn't necessarily, I'm talking about Ima, the videographer, he doesn't necessarily have to increase the ISO, which was going to bring in a lot of grainy footages. So he's using the continuous light and I'm also using the continuous light. I also have the Godos TT520 on it, and that is just to give me more light in the room. So as you can see from the pictures, I'm not relying heavily on the continuous light. Mine is to help me get the focus. Now, if you're interested in camera settings, as you can see from my camera here, I'm shooting at ISO 400, a shutter speed of 1 over 100, and an f-stop of f1.8. Now, the reason why, anytime you're shooting with flashes, you don't try to exceed 1 over 200. Some flashes do allow you to go as high as 1 over 250. Now, the flash I'm using, the maximum shutter speed that you can sync with it is 1 over 200. So that is why I keep it as that. I don't go above 1 over 200. But in this case, I was even shooting at 1 over 100 because I didn't want to increase my ISO so much. I didn't want to increase the flash power because we'll be shooting for an entire day. And I didn't want to increase the ISO too much. That's why I'm shooting at a lower shutter speed. So, and the moment you know your exposure triangle, it makes it a lot easier to know which one to use. Now, for a wedding day, I mostly shoot in landscape, except when it is a single shot or when it is the exclusive that I usually switch to, the portrait. So as you can see, it is not all the things that are in frame that are the problem. Everything in the back can also be an issue for you after all. So you notice that before we had all of the things on the bed, but now that we have moved him in front of the bed, we have to remove certain things from it so that they do not show up in his background. So stuff like water bottles, stuff like colored blankets or pillowcases, all of those stuffs, you can take them out in the background so that when you are editing, you wouldn't have to focus so much on those other things. Okay, so I'm asking him to come a bit closer to the light. And over here, you can see I'm shooting at f2.2, ISO of 250. And the reason is that he's much closer to the light, so it makes it so much easier to just bring down my ISO. If he was much further, then I will have to increase my ISO. Now, I'm also shooting with a flash diffuser on it so that it can diffuse very well in the room. The flash power is set to the second, which is 1 over 64. 1 over 64 flash power, so it is quite low. So with the guy poses, I'm making sure that it is as much natural as possible. So he has the sort of abada on it. He holds it. You always make sure that they are doing something with their hand. So either their hand is in their pocket, on their belly, on their clothes, something. Don't let them have their arms right by themselves doing absolutely nothing. And that also applies for the ladies. So it's not just the gentlemen.
Lightning how we kafra.
Now for this pose, I wouldn't have put him in that pose, but he wanted to be sitting in that comfortable position. So as you may have heard me, I just said he should sit a bit upright instead of being more relaxed in the chair.
Okay.
I wasn't really feeling this, but this is something he requested for. He wanted pictures in the chair, so that was what I did for him. But ideally, if I was shooting, this is not the direction I was going to give him. Okay, so crossing one leg is something that I would have gone for, and that is what I did, and that was looking much better. I'm still shooting at f2.2, but this time around the ISO has gone down to f400 again because he's much farther from the light as opposed to the first time.
Yeah, me and no cost no so. I say on me try work for. But me ask on the lens in the moment fresh.
So we are going to the corridor to take a couple of the groom prep shots so that we can move on to the next part. Now, we were lucky, I would say we were lucky, because the traditional wedding was supposed to take place around 10 in the morning, but we still ended up getting there around 11. And it was easier for us to take the exclusives even before we go for the main event. So in situations where you can also suggest them to your couple that if the wedding is a bit farther away, instead of it being in the morning at say 8 or 9, if they are done quickly, you can take your exclusives when the makeup is fresh, when their outfits are, without sweat and all of that. Then you can take your exclusives right in the morning before you move on to the next, phase of the whole ceremony. And this makes it quite easy because once they are done with the event, now going to take the exclusives, sometimes the makeup will be ruined, and if the makeup artist is not around to make touches, you have to do a lot of editing when it comes to post-processing. And sometimes they are so happy that they dance and jump and they end up becoming sweaty. So you see sweat in some of their clothes or patches in their clothes, especially for the guys. So in this sort of situation, you would have to, again, do a lot of editing in the post-process. So over here, I'm just using Fresh, that is his name. I'm using Fresh as a model so that I can adjust my settings before the grooms come in or before the groom comes in. Now I just reduced the flash power because it was a bit too bright, and unfortunately our light stand couldn't go down because we wanted to have a shot of him on the staircase, so I had to use more flash power in this case. Okay, so ideally I wouldn't have him too close to the wall. That's why I asked him to come a bit forward. I will give you the little. So the light power is still not bright enough because we are outside now, and the sun is also, we have to overpower the sun at some point. So what I did was, as you can see, I'm taking off the diffuser so that the reflector can be more on them. The light power is still set to 100%, but it's a 60 watts, so we will not get that much power when we are outdoors. Oh no, your body is facing this side, but your head is facing. Yeah, like that. Okay, perfect. So over here, the flash power is increased a bit. That is 1/32. Come on. Okay, so I'm still working around the angles. I didn't like the lower angle because his shoes were not showing. So in a situation like that, you bring it a bit up. We took a couple of shots there, then we moved on to the lady. Now I'll be talking about a lot of the posing when it comes to the lady and when it comes to the couple shots, because working with ladies is, I'll say, where we put most of our effort. With the guys, our poses aren't so much. Either you fold your arms or your hands are in your pockets and all of this. So that we use this one, just one. So he might requested that I help him out, charge up his Game Boy, and that is what I'm doing. We also took a couple of drone shots, but I didn't get footage of it. So we are actually starting with a drone mastery class, and that is also going to be something you are going to be seeing very soon. Now we are fortunate the bride was even done before we got there, so taking a couple of shots of her was quite easy, but we had to wait for a couple of the bridesmaids to also be done so that we can all work together. So yes, I'm still, using.
Fresh boy.
Now I was just taking random pictures of both of them because they were dancing at this point.
What's that for life now? You know it's great job.
So I still have the flash power set to 1/32.
No, just can you? Okay, let's do that short one. Let's do that short one. Okay. Nice one.
Alright, so we had an initial shot of holding both of the fans with her hands. Now this time around, I'm not shooting pictures. I was recording a video for a reel, which I'll show you a video of. And now I think I have switched to photos, so I'm taking photos now.
Yeah. Hey, Billy. Very Billy. Okay, so what did this way? Yes, that's it. And look towards the right. Sit upright.
Now, depending on every bride, the poses are going to be either similar or completely different. Now, a bride here has a bit of a tummy, so certain shots is not going to be very comfortable for her. And the shots we are also going to get from the certain shots are not going to be too, beautiful. So what I asked her was to, suck her tummy in just a bit. And also when you are taking shots of her standing, instead of having her face one direction, let her be very close to you, or look at you directly. Let her face you directly instead of being off to the side, because then you can see more of the protruding shot. Unless of course you want to be editing the tummy in post, and that is when you can have her on the other side so that you can use the perspective warp or the puppet warp to bring some of the tummy in. Alright, so at this very moment, questions from the couple's parents, where are you guys, and all of that, they keep coming in. So what I did was I started recording video, as you can see, shooting at f1/60 ISO. I set the ISO to auto, so because of the changing lights, it makes it quite easy for me. Now, yes, we keep saying that shoot in manual all the time, but it doesn't mean everything has to be manual. I sometimes switch to auto ISO, especially when the light is changing very drastically, and especially when I'm shooting videos. So I'm going to basically take a couple of things that I have to get from here. Then we move on to taking a couple of shots on the walkway. As you can see, we always have so many things to pack. So this time around, I was carrying around my 85, my 50, and the 35mm lens. All are from Mikey. I don't know why. So as you may have noticed, I'm just switching to the no flash, because now instead of using the continuous lights, I will switch to using what do you call it? So when we came outside, now I'm using the battery to power our lights, still at 100%, still at 60 watts. But you know how batteries run, at some points you have to take it out and start shooting with the speed light.
Okay. First time I come out. Alright, my mutual full shot. Okay.
Alright, so as you can see, I have her holding both of her waist, one on the slightly lower and one slightly above. Alright, so in this case, she should lift her head towards the source of the light, and sometimes she will lift her head towards the light, but still with the eyes looking at the camera. So
he's now white. Okay, nice one. Now, multi-social lights, no? Lights, no? Okay. So, oh yeah, wait. Mimi, okay. Okay, one more time. But first, we open our them kaka. When you okay. Yes. Ma'am, come in to charge. No.
alright, so over here we are just taking a couple of shots of the bridesmaids who are done dressing, and as you can see, I have one light in the background and I have another light over here. So what I did was I used the trigger for both the goddess and for the young Nuo. Now I have the trigger on the camera, which I believe you've already discussed. I have the trigger on the camera, making sure it's the same group and it's the same channel. Then I took a couple of shots from here. Now, as you can see, this place is quite dark, so my camera was finding quite difficult to focus. So what I could have done was, there's also one light right above me, so I could have brought her to that light and I could illuminate her a little bit more so that my camera will be able to see her. But we are still lucky we were able to get some, and because the camera wasn't able to focus, that's why the green light is popping, the laser light is popping, so that it can help the camera to focus a bit more. Now I love camera manufacturers. They always think about multiple solutions and they help us in all of these ways. So over here I'm using a 2-light system and they are both opposite each other. So I have one light in front of her and off to the right, and another light at the back of her off to the left, and they are complementing each other. So one light will hit her from the front, another one will hit her from the back. I do not have them on the same side because it's going to create more light on one side, and the backlight is also going to be coming on there. So if it's on the left side, she will have more lights on the right side, and she will still have more light on the right side behind her. So over here, Ima is just taking a couple of pictures to change his WhatsApp DP, and we're able to capture a couple of few. So as I was saying earlier, the place was quite dark. So as you can see, Fresh is now holding a continuous light on anyone who is going to take the photo so that my camera can focus. And now you can see the camera is able to see her a bit more, unlike the other person, which was much darker.
Oh, sing, I'm sorry, why? First, I want the kakra. Okay, 3, 2, 1. One more. Okay, and one.
Alright, so over here I'm still using my speed lights to take the photos. Now the reason for that is we are going to shoot a couple of exclusives out in the open, but over here we are under a shade, so I still have to put a bit of light on them, and I'm going to show you one without the light and one with the light so that you can see or understand what I'm trying to say. Without the light, you get beautiful pictures, all right, but you have to increase the brightness of your camera, either the ISO, lower the shutter speed, or widen up your aperture. But the moment you put a little bit of light of them, even in the open, they pop out a bit more from the background or from the surrounding. But without the lights, they are just like the same exposure as everything in the surrounding.
Okay, look in the direction of the light. Yes. Okay. Can you hold it with both arms? Both arms. Okay. Okay. One more.
Unfortunately, because we are outdoor, you can't really see my screen because the camera recording the behind the scenes is always exposing for the entire surrounding, and the screen is not bright enough for you to see.
Fresh. Penukunu nebra. Okay. Into the left and fatu tape no so happy. Not right and fatu. Pass off family, but left and most of family. Yeah. Okay. Gam now we need the ambua pound. Let's say you section. Let's know which you have. Okay. Yeah, no, we switch yes, Alright. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Number with social flash now. Nice one. Okay. My one side right and then stroke akra. Enko stroke to say they would. I have a 2 shade. No. It is fresh or no.
Now, all the time, I know most of you will be interested in what camera settings you are using and all of that. But if you are outdoor, the camera settings are always going to change because I'm shooting in bright sunlight and you will be shooting at golden hour. So the settings are not going to be the same. What matters the most, I should say, is the moment you understand your exposure triangle, you can adjust the settings as you want. But if you're interested, again, I'm still using this time around, I was using a flash power of 1/8, which is much brighter than the 1/32 I was using indoor. And the reason for that is because now we are in a brightly lit environment. So I need more flash power to overcome the brightness in the surrounding. Now at this point, the bride is getting a bit frustrated, but you have to keep reminding them that they have to take nice photos.
Okay.
So I quickly switched to the 50mm f1.8 lens since initially I was using the 85, so I switched to the 50, and I'll be switching back and forth for my wide and tight shots.
Boris, I'm not Benanti, video no. I'm not Benanti. Or do want to say, hold her like this. Not at her back. Like this, so that I can see both of you. Yeah. Okay, so you walk towards that side. Then you... that be, you know, I'm saying I would now now. You might, you're sure they see them. Into in a hurry, them. Yeah. Minimum to wear. Okay, ready. Hello, Madam Notion reflection in Pachokoseka. Alright, let's be quick. Keep smiling, Okay. Okay, let's do one more time. This time around, don't look at us. Focus on her. Yeah. You stand here. Oh, like this. Yeah, like that. Okay. Like this. No, not you. And then look there and then let's head and down on one day. Hello. Pacho. And the other name why? That's say and I say, Kose.
There's always this confusion. They're wondering whether they should stand here or they should stand there. And the problem is when we are in a hurry, that is when you see them walking around like continuously.
Hello, madam.
And it's not always intentional, but sometimes they're also interested in just taking photos with their phone, even though we are behind time. So in a situation like what Ima is having right now, if I was shooting video, I'll have my ISO in auto mode because I move from the darkness to the light.
Your left hand on her waist. Okay. Are you wearing the ring already? He's wearing him. But you, it's fine. Tell someone to bring it so that we'll do the other.
So yes, if you are also taking the exclusives before the main event, let them put their rings on because it will look weird having wedding exclusive photos out there and there's not a ring on any of their fingers. So the guy already has his ring on because we asked him to, but the lady does not. So we've asked someone to go get the ring. So in this case, the couple of shots we are going to take are going to be shots without the ring so that it is not showing. And as you can see, I have her turned to the other side so that the ring is going to be facing behind her. So it was not really going to be showing. Until the ring comes, she's not going to turn and her left finger is going to be showing us.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Give the palm to this hand. Okay. Yes. So you look at him over your shoulder. Better. And pay the metrobia. Okay, like that. Keep going, keep going. Lean in, but don't kiss. Lean in. Perfect. Beautiful. Both of you should close your eyes. Okay. Beautiful. One more. Okay. Lean in, very close, extremely close. Perfect. Don't change. Okay. Now for videos, don't change. Yima. Don't change. Yeah.
Now, since I'm using a primeness, if I want to zoom in, I have to walk, and if I want to zoom out, I have to walk back.
Perfect. Keep going. All right. Yima.
Now, initially, I did say that we took a couple of drone shots. So this is us setting up the drone shots. We have one more shot we wanted to take for video, actually. Come to think of it, we should have done a couple of them for photos too. Not so lucky. This was one of the unfortunate times because you can see on the left-hand side of the road that there is cut grass and it's still on the road. I wanted us to take it off, but I mean, it's not our job, so we had to get the shot just like we wanted. But unfortunately, it's also going to show in the video, which is not what I was expecting, but we had to just take it like that.
In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So the plan is to pull the drone back while still going up, and I'll show you how it looks in a couple of seconds. And for the couple, they have to hold hands, talk, have a conversation whilst they are walking towards the direction of the camera, and we got some amazing shots from there too.
Okay, one more. So let's start from where the zebra crossing is. Kafra.
IMU in preparation.
They're not in one country.
So for this pose, they are going to be walking towards each other at the center, and the video is going to meet them at the center. I also took the opportunity of taking a couple of pictures. Now we are outdoor. As you can see this time around, I'm shooting at ISO 100 at f1.8, and the shutter speed is much faster because I'm not using any form of external light. I'm just using the light from the sun. And we're also lucky because there was a lot of clouds. It was a bit cloudy on this day, so the sun was not so harsh on them. It was, I think, around 10 a.m. at this point. So yeah.
In fact, not today. I could this here. But I will send from no. Okay. So just like the other one, send not for ring hand. Oh no, 10.
So I was trying to replicate a shot I took earlier at this same location for one of the pre-wedding shoots. And I mean, I'll put it side by side for you to see if I was able to re-execute it. Now, like I mentioned, every couple poses, you can have similar poses, but because the human beings themselves are different, you are not going to get the same exact photos. That is the unfortunate thing. But you can get close to the exact photos as much as possible.
There should be movement, like communication. You
Now, I say this because sometimes either the groom is shorter than the bride, or the bride is a bit heavier than the groom. There are so many instances. We haven't had the same couple being the exact same thing.
Okay, Boris, a little bit more here. Come forward. Okay, like that. No, like turn a little bit more here. Okay, yeah. Okay. Then the last close up. Sorry. Okay, please, you are done. You are done. You and your brothers too can take yours right now.
So over here, I'm just taking a couple of shots, single shots of the bridesmaids. We mostly do this as well. We take the shots of the ladies, single shots of all the ladies, single shots of all the guys, and the group shots too as well.
So your lips keep moving in the pictures. So please stop chewing them. Okay. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lift the bag up a bit more with both hands. Okay, perfect. Okay, now look in that direction with your head, like, yes.
Shot, you can see one guy wearing blue in the background. Now, I saw him in my shot, so I had to re-angle myself so that he doesn't show up. There's one more person, like that. So anytime you look at the things in your foreground and the things in your background, if they are not making the shot nice, or if it's going to give you a problem when editing in terms of erasing certain things and all of that, then you also make sure you get rid of it right when you are shooting, not when you are editing. Make your work a lot easier when you're editing.
Okay, then let's walk towards the side. Let's walk. Allez here. Okay, beautiful. Chawan, what are you doing? It's more one year video. Now, but tell mommy why. Now, why ready? Okay, so 3, 2, 1. You my one question. I want you to do. Okay, one more. Video na maker. On video na video. One ya one answer about. Inti catch on. One share, one same na one answer bra. So the usual thing, handshake. But they speak English, right? They don't speak English too. Nepal français et anglais. No anglais. Hey! And then they are here. When we send away positive for phone, you're the same thing, man, wife. Now, Timbra from Kaka. You also can speak. Okay, ready? Sit down. Okay. No, not like this. Like this. Okay. All right, perfect. Look to the side. Okay. All right, next person. Martin. What's open, baby, for Frana? And Mammy Sam, Mammy no braha. Now, what do you have here? Hey. Okay. But hey, Abam, guys, one video no me. Okay. I ready. Okay. All right. Perfect. Hey, hello. Hey. Chewuti kakab. Aha. Once I'm on down for your baby. Okay. One more. Okay, one more. Okay, Miss Aka. What now? I shall no phone no never. I shall come out there. Not on never. Our picture no who yes or never. No, Porto baby. Porto baby, our baby baby. By our bra. Baby, not a had it. I had the can on baby. Fresh. I don't know, babe. Hey. Okay. All right. Okay. I say picture on a bride now then. Me too. Bride and white then. What you know to see her? Okay. Oba ne frame dia meko. Bahana. Okay. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Okay, look to the side. Perfect. And a little bit towards my side. Yeah, like that. A little bit more. A little bit more. Perfect. Okay. Last one. Okay. All right. Okay. Nice one. Okay, change your style.
So you saw me pan to my right. That is because the tree in the background, when you're taking photos, you don't let it come out of their head. As in poses where you note, or in positions where you notice that it is coming out of their head. You don't do that. So I had to re-angle myself so that she would be in between the two trees instead of with the thoughts or with the look where something is popping out of their head. That is not a good position.
Okay. All right. One more. Okay. Come on, I'm going to move away from you. Come there, do baby. Yeah, young for pan on a young colony. There be Kode mum, Kode. Not like this. See, what we are doing? Aha. Yeah, like that. Okay. Don't change. Okay, let me come closer. Open your eyes a bit wider. Eyes. Okay. And smile. Perfect. Okay. Yes, okay. All right. Okay. One more. Okay, let's start. Mechanwo. A pedestal semana. Yanko de. Maybe I'm sure we need a member. It's with a chamo, but it's like a camera. Oh.
So I couldn't get the behind the scenes of other shots until we got to the events grounds. This is where they were having the traditional wedding. Now we had everything set up for video, but for photography it was just my camera and the speed light on it. as you can see from here. So what I was doing at this point was, I have the flash on. When we go outside, I'll turn the flash off. But when we are inside, then I'll turn the flash back on, adjust my settings quickly for exposing for indoor shots. Then we take the shot from there. So now you can see my flash is on, and when we step out again, my flash is going to be off. I'm still using the 50mm lens. That lens is quite versatile. You can use it for wide and close-up shots all the time, and it doesn't really affect anyone. But I think this time I have switched to the Nikon 50mm f1.8 instead of the Mikey 50mm. The Mikey was being used by Ima, so I had to use the Nikon. They are both great lenses, but they give a bit of different feel. But as long as you are shooting in RAW, you can always make your edits like so. Now I always tell the bride that she should leave a bit of gap between the person in front of her and herself so that I can get more shots. And as you can see, there's a bit of a space so that I can get more shots of her. Now I want to quickly move to the other side so that I can get shots of her too as well, once she's coming from the left hand side. So as a photographer, you're going to be moving a lot, and you have to keep that in mind.
So on to Nasiana. Becky.
So I'm asking her to be on the other side so that we, the photographers and videographers, can get a shot of her instead of her facing us with her back.
Madam.
So over here I was recording a vertical video for Instagram, part of the reels that I did earlier. Then I quickly switched to photos. Now you may have noticed that all the photos I'm taking here are landscape photos because I want to get as many people in the shot as possible. Hardly would you see me taking portrait photos during the event. Most of the time it is going to be in the landscape shot. So this is the point that the father is also, or father figure is also going to ask the lady whether they should accept the items from the groom's family. And I was first just signaling them to give the microphone to the lady. So at this point, I have my ISO at 320, shutter speed 1/200. Like I mentioned earlier, shutter speed with the flash shouldn't go more than 1/200. And the reason is very simple, so that we don't get that blackout effect on the photo. So for the indoor shots, they are about the same thing. I always shoot in landscape with a consistent lighting setup, just the speed light on my camera. So over here, Yuma is going to tell them to turn around because we can't actually see anyone, especially with the bride and groom. We couldn't see them because of how they are positioned. So yes, as a photographer, if it is possible, it's not always the time, but sometimes the room is quite small and you have to intervene by letting them stand in the correct posture. So sometimes you can actually direct them to be in a much better position, but in other times, there's nothing you can actually do. So in this situation that we find ourselves right now, we had so many people already standing and blocking our view, so we couldn't see the bride or groom very well, and we couldn't get our shot.
Place this ring on your finger. Hello. To show my love.
Now I just switch to video one more time, again, just because of the view. But besides that, I wasn't going to shoot any form of content in the vertical view.
My family. In the presence of God's people. From today onwards, you'll be my wife. I will love you, cherish you all the days of my life, till death separate us.
So now we had some time to take a couple of shots of the reception, wedding reception. Sorry, my belt is in the way. So we took the opportunity to capture them. So at this moment, Fresh was the only one in the room, and he was capturing the family giving advice to the couple, and we took the liberty of also capturing some of the details at the reception. So this is me taking a picture of the cake, ISO 200, aperture of 2, then I adjust the shutter speed accordingly. And that is Sima also capturing a couple of videos for the video trailer, of course. Now these days, social media, posting on social media, posting behind the scenes, posting views on social media makes your content blow up a lot faster than just photos. So that is why I consistently switch to videos, to take vertical videos for social media. Now I believe there's a merger between the Facebook and Instagram views. So TikTok, Facebook and Instagram views, Threads, all of those places you can actually post content there. Now every once in a while I reach into the bag to take a couple of things. And this time around I picked the 20mm f2.8 lens. Now, like I already mentioned, the 20mm the smaller the number, the wider the shot. So the 20mm is going to give me a wider shot. I wish I had a 60mm f1.8 lens to get everything in frame, but the 20mm was also quite good enough, and that is what I use for this shot. Now the lowest f-top I can get this to is f2.8. So because of that, I have to bring down my shutter speed a little bit more. Now, in case you didn't realize what happened there, I asked a couple of people to move out of the way so that I could get, shots of, some details at the reception. But they were already seated there, so I politely asked them to, move to a different place. And when I was done, I went back to tell them that I was done so they could go back to their original place. Now, getting the details is also very important. So, you have to always find a way to do it. It is not all the case that you'd be like, oh, when I went to the reception, people were already seated, so I couldn't really. When I went to the reception, people were already seated, so I didn't really take any shots, so I just came back. No, you don't have to give that excuse. So what you can do is, if it's possible, just tell the people who are already seated, especially if there are not many, if they could excuse you for about 2 minutes, then within those 2 minutes, you capture your shot as fast as possible. I keep saying, as a photographer, you are paid to take pictures and you don't have any excuse whatsoever why you didn't take the pictures you were supposed to take. Now at this point, I've been to so many weddings, I should say close to 300 weddings. So I have a fair idea of how everything is going to process from this to that and from that to the next. So I have a fair idea of everything. So if you take a look at the video, you will notice that I never pulled out the wedding shot list because I have a fair idea of how it is going to be. But as mentioned, it's going to be included in this masterclass. So anyone who is interested in taking a look at the short list can also download it and use it as well. But there's something you should also take note that every tribe in Ghana is not the same. There are a lot of them which are quite similar because Akan is very big and we have so many tribes under Akan, so they are going to get a lot of similarities. But in situations where it is something related to a verse or notness or anything of that sort, and sometimes even religion can make it seem very different at some point. So you have to take note of all of this. And that is among the reasons why you also have to do a consultation so that you know what to expect, how to expect it, and what is to come. And those are some of the details you have to get from the bride and groom or the coordinator or planner who is also in charge of that. So we are basically done with the event, and at this point they had changed into their reception outfits and they were entering for the first time as a married couple. So this is where the whole dancing and all of that began. Now we didn't really spend so much time here, but what I did was I used the continuous lights we were using initially, but without the softbox because we are in a much brighter place, and we set it up on the side so that we can always get lights falling on the people who are going to be standing there. As you can see, my light stand is what is there. So that's basically it for this particular wedding. After the reception, we didn't take any exclusive, so there isn't any behind the scenes to further explain it. But this is the takeaway you can get from this. At the reception, if you have a continuous light, that is what I was saying. If you have a continuous light, also bring it there so that if the deco or the lighting that is going on is too colorful, the green, the blue, the purple flying all in your scene, you can always introduce white light to better make your videos and photos pop a little bit more. Now I say this because in the reception, you'll notice that the colors are so many. There's red, there's green, there's yellow. They are always flashing. And because of that, if you're taking pictures, you notice that the colors of one photo will be different from the colors of another photo. And that is where the continuous light comes in. So on your bride and groom, you can have a consistent light on top of them or on them, which is the white light or the warm light, depending on which one you are looking for. And you can set it up at one corner and throw it directly on them. So in cases where they are doing their first dance or they are having their first dance, cutting the cake, anything that involves the couple coming together, you can always have your continuous light on them. In some cases, you don't necessarily have to use the softbox because depending on where you are, you may not be able to. No, the softbox limits the power of the lights because it is in a softbox. It makes it softer. So in some cases, you have to make it a bit harsher so that you can get more power out of it. So that is what I did for this reception. And most of the pictures were looking quite good. So in the next video, we should be editing a couple of the pictures. And I'm going to show you how I edit all the pictures and how I deliver to the client.